Next up, we have Classic Physique. This was one of the most hotly contested divisions at this show. Even before I'll get into it, I'll review fourth place since everybody wanted to talk about the top three. In fourth place, we had Benjamin Zimmerman, who brought a great overall package to this show. He was very conditioned with a great back. He could probably improve on his presentation a bit, but he can also work on bringing his waist in more just to give him more of a better silhouette in his poses. But overall, he brought a great look with great condition, and I think it was a big accomplishment for him to be in this top four and look good next to the three Olympians that were in this first call out. Now, we'll move into the top three of this show. So the top three were Jae-Hoon Park, Robert Timms, and Logan Franklin. Three amazing physiques. So something to clear up that I think is a common misconception is, yes, we want to see an X-Frame and Classic Physique, and we want to see great structure with a small waist. However, the show is not judged just on who has the best structure alone. If that was the case, then people might as well not even show up to the show, because if you think someone has the best structure, then they should automatically win. What's the point of there being a competition? People thinking that because Jae-Hoon doesn't have the structure of Robert or of Logan, that he should not win the show, are very, very mistaken. We're still looking for muscularity, conditioning. Yes, you need to have good structure. We want to see an X-frame with a small waist, flaring lats, good legs that match the upper body. But we're looking for the same things in Classic as we're looking for in the 212 or in the bodybuilding divisions. So yes, genetically, when you have a better physique and a better structure naturally than the other person, that is an advantage for you, but you need to take full advantage of that. Jae-Hoon still has good structure. Jae-Hoon still has a nice small waist. He still had good taper. And conditioning, he was maybe the most conditioned guy overall, conditioned person in this show overall. His conditioning was next level, unreal, and everything on his physique in person just popped. So in the front double bicep, he actually looked great in the front double bicep. Robert, in most of the comparisons, stood straight on, straight up and down with his lower body and his legs. And this made him look top heavy in the front double bicep and made his legs look pretty small. Logan has a great front double bicep. The issue with Logan was similar to the issue we had with Hunter. Logan controlled his waist the whole time, but was really starting to sweat and was starting to fade. And he started out in the center with Jae-Hoon in the callouts and actually got moved out and got switched with Robert because he completely lost the conditioning that he brought to the show. His conditioning was good. It was not great. It was good. But once we started posing him, and then by the end, it just was too washed out that's why he had to go into third place. Next up is the side chest. Now, the side chest, all of them hit their side chests kind of a little strange. Jae-Hoon still needed to pull his arms back a little bit more to really show up the width that he had up top. But overall, with the density and conditioning he was showing here, he still had a very strong side chest pose. Robert's upper body is great in the side chest pose, but here in the side leg, again, you really see he really needs more hamstrings, and the legs don't look quite balanced with the upper body. Logan's side chest, Logan still needs a little bit more chest in his side chest, but also sometimes he was hitting it, flexing his leg, really, really the old school way, so he wasn't showing off his hamstring drop. He looked better when he was hitting it the normal way with the hamstring drop. But again, for him, conditioning is what puts him in third behind these other two guys in this pose because all of his detail was just getting washed away as we kept posing them for longer. Now we move into the back double bicep. All three have pretty decent back double biceps. Jae-Hoon was pretty strong. He had good detail from head to toe. His conditioning, again, was next level. His lower body was the best out of all these three. His upper body, we still saw the detail and good size that we wanted to see in the arms and the shoulders. His back could use a little bit more density to it, a little bit more lower lats as well. That would really complete his physique. But overall, this was a very, very strong pose for him. Robert's upper body, actually, he does not hit the back double bicep fully. I think he could hit this pose a lot better. He tends to hit the back double bicep. His arms are forward like this. His elbows are out. He's pinching slightly, so he's not opening up his lats. If he would open up, pull the wrist back, pull the arms back, and pop out, the back is going to look crazy on him because he has a crazy back. But again, you see in the lower body, you don't see the level of conditioning that you saw from the other two because the muscle's just not there. It's not pushing against the skin. So he really needs to improve the size of his hamstrings and how the hamstrings come out, but he needs to improve the width of his legs as well from the back to really make sure he's not unbalanced between the upper and the lower body. Logan can still use some more depth to his back. He could probably show off his legs actually even a little bit better in this pose. But again, the same thing as the other two poses. Once you start sweating and doing everything, his back flattened out completely, so the thickness that he does have back there wasn't shown. And by the end, he moves behind both these guys in this pose. Next is the abdominals and thigh pose. Here, Jae-hoon was very, very strong. From head to toe, his arms look great in this pose. You still see thickness in his chest. His abs are etched in and defined. Nice tight waist. His lower body, again, was the best out of the three, so the overall balance and everything was there with his pose here, plus his conditioning, again, shined through and really made him pop. Then you have Robert, who, again, I think could make this pose a lot better for himself if he would make some tweaks to it. Again, standing straight on with his legs, you look and see the imbalance between his upper and his lower body. He could still actually make his upper body as well look wider and make his lats come out into his waist and really make his taper look better in this pose to make it a much stronger pose for him. Logan hits this pose great. Again, with him, the difference between him and the top two here was the conditioning and the details of his abs and his quads being washed out compared to the other two. And lastly, we get to your favorite classic pose. So when you guys are hitting your favorite classic pose, you want to choose the pose that shows off your strengths the best and hides all your weaknesses. So actually for this pose, Jae-hoon, I would advise to change this pose as it does not show off all of his strengths, I think, the best way. He could change it up because he has the crazy legs and also conditioning. Against two guys that have better taper and better structure, the pose was not the pose to hit. This pose is a great pose for Robert because actually it shows off his taper great. His midsection and abs look great. And actually the way he's holding his legs here make his legs and quads look better and match much better with his upper body. Logan actually hits a great pose here as well for him, even though his back could have more detail and density to it. This twisting back pose, he does it very, very well. The way he holds his leg here from the side shows off detail and also size to his side leg. So in this pose, I personally liked Robert in first because conditioning, his was better than Logan's. Logan's conditioning faded, or else if it was on point or on par with even Robert's, let alone Jae-hoon's, I think he takes this classic shot. And Jae-hoon in third here, even though his conditioning and everything was better than the other guys. In this pose, we see more of his flaws, which, that's what you want to hide in the classic poses. Going into what the feedback would be for these guys, for Jae-hoon, like I said, he needs a little bit more depth to his back, a little bit more to his lower lats as well. He also could use a little bit more size to his arms that would really complete his physique better because of how crazy his legs are. For Robert needs just more overall leg size. He can use more to his legs to match up with his upper body. He could hit some poses better. His back is very strong, but he doesn't pose his back double bicep correct to show that off as a strength. I think a couple little tweaks and obviously bringing the legs up, and this guy could be very dangerous for a lot of people. For Logan, he could use a little bit more chest. He can use a little bit more to his back, but the main thing for him is not only bringing in great conditioning, but holding that conditioning throughout posing. Even back to his men's physique days, I know he's had problems holding the posing and going through his posing rounds and not sweating and be fading out his physique. So if he can hold that with his presentation and his physique and his structure, again, this is a very dangerous guy in classic physique. So I hope this helps everybody understand more what we're looking for in classic physique and also how this show was judged.